This is the biggest Football Manager update I think we have had in years. Yes, we have finally got something to do with the set pieces, and we've even got a new set piece coach role. So, Football Manager's just put a post up. I know it's an annoying blog, and I hate the fact that I have to read a lot because I'm not that type of learner, but I'm going to persevere because I've had a brief look, and what I've seen is very exciting. So, this is what we have to look forward to for FM24, despite knowing FM25 is around the corner and we got the new engine, etc. I now think that this has made FM24 worth it for everybody to pick up. I was obviously going to pick it up anyway, but I think this is actually a big substantial change from FM23 to FM24. It can make or break how good that a franchise or this series is going to be for FM24. So we can see here, we've got coach's debut of a set-piece coach. And they mention, obviously, in the world of football, set-piece coach role is now a new specialized staff role. So in Football Manager, it made sense for it to be there. I was surprised it wasn't in there last year, to be honest. But maybe what I was thinking was possibly they were working on it at the end of last year and couldn't quite get it ready in time for FM24. And I think now they spent the year to kind of look at it and analyze it, make sure it's not too overpowered, hopefully. But we can see here, we've got a new set-piece coach. And this is what it's going to look like on our page. So we can see highlighted set piece coach role here. Set piece is now going to be a new attribute in the coaching role. Obviously it's going to highlight here the attributes that are going to be needed for it to be obviously a good coach role. Tactical knowledge is high. I would suggest that set piece and tactical knowledge is going to be obviously the two most important ones, and determination, level of discipline, and motivating is the ones that you always see on coaches anyway. So that's fantastic. I love that we've got another extra attribute to add to that. And, you know, it's something that we can then look into if we're joining a new club. Okay, we need to improve our set pieces, etc. This is what we can do. I know a lot of people are really into like the data hub, etc. This is going to be brilliant for you guys because you can obviously analyze how well you're doing at set pieces and physically see a difference if you hire a set piece coach. That's good. Okay, a new flow to set your set piece preferences. These new coaches will have an impact in your careers pretty much straight away as they're driving force behind our refresh set piece creator. Yes, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. This is what I have wanted for the last few years because then my comment section can stop going, oh, he uses the near post corners. I see you Reddit comments and my comment section talking about near post corners. They're in the game. It just so happens that they work really well. But there we go. So now we have a new set piece creator that we can see here, bringing forward a save from FN23 or writing a new footballing story, which means, remember, we can take our FN23 stories into FM24 and you can still use all the new features of FM24, okay? By the way, if you haven't done so yet, you can use my link at the top of the description to purchase and pre-order FM24. You get beta access. It's cheaper than Steam, but make sure you use my link because then I get commission, but use the discount Omega and you get the discount code, which makes about £33. So make sure you use that. Your set piece coach will represent you with 6 key questions that focus on both your defensive and offensive preferences from dead ball situations. So when you click on set pieces, if you've got a coach in there, you'll have this conversation with them. And I think this conversation is brilliant. Okay, so first off, it was starting off by the marking from like corners, for example. So if you want to do zonal, player marking, or a hybrid, the hybrid obviously stands out to me straight away. I think that's the type of marking that I would like. Your biggest aerial threats will mark zonally, while the rest will mark the individual opponents. To me, when I was playing football, that always is what we used to do because it would be like, right, our biggest guy would attack the ball. I think that's kind of what it means, all right? So what defensive strategy you're going for from corners. We slide across here, and this is lovely, isn't it? This is nice. And a bit more visuals. This is what I like to see, Football Manager. Thank you very much. What post do you want players marking whilst defending? So you can have both post, near post, no post. Obviously, we kind of had that already in the old set piece creator, so it's just a new way of showcasing it, I guess. One thing I would say is make it a little bit bigger, though. I know I keep saying it. Make it a little bit bigger. Make it, like, fill the page. There's so much dead space here. It would be, you know, really good. If it would fill the page, I just think it would just look better. How many players do you like to leave forward when defending a set piece? So if you want to defend the box more, if you want to push for that counter attack or balance, I wonder whether like you can set it. What would be great is if you could set it up for like, oh, when we're a goal down, I want to go counter attacking. When we're 1 goal up, I want to defend the box. If we could add things like that in, oh, this game would be wonderful, wouldn't it? You didn't have to like go in and change it automatically, and it would just do it for you. That would be fantastic. Okay, so the next piece is then, how do you prefer the ball to be delivered? So this is now going into the attacking side of things. How would you attack from set pieces? Would you like to go to far post, central, or near post? Again, it's very similar to how it was last year in regards to, like, obviously you could already pick where you're going. It's just a new way of showcasing it. But I think overall the package is going to be better. So we can choose, obviously, from that. And then you get these options. How many players do you want to leave back defending during attacking set pieces? Now, obviously, before you would actually put the position in certain places. So it would be a little bit like, okay, I want my left back there or etc. And that would be good. But obviously, when you're rotating your squad around, some players would be better in elsewhere. And obviously, some players who would then play left back, if they're playing, would actually take the corner, which means that left back wouldn't be there. That would cause trouble. I think this is going to kind of get rid of that problem for us from looking at this post that Football Manager has put up here, which is obviously a great thing. So you can defend the transition, so more defenders will be left back to nullify their counter if they decide to counter-attack you. Stay high, fewer defenders will stay back in an attempt to be more attacking. And then a balance, a few defenders will focus on staying back. Again, a caveat, well not a caveat, but I wish you had the option to suggest, okay, we've noticed in the game that they are trying to counter-attack, so should we leave more? Yes, but have that as an option. If your opponents decide to leave more up, then stay back. You know, I mean, there was like a rule of thumb when I was playing like Sunday League and Saturday football, which would be like, always have 1 more player back than what they do. So if they left 2 men up front, you'd have 3 players back, and that was always the rule. I wish there was like an option to do that, but I still am liking what I'm seeing. All right, I'm not dissing it. This is just other things that I like off the top of my head. I'm thinking, oh, that would have been cool. There might still be. I don't know. Okay, so an in-swinger or an out-swinger, obviously. So it's better, obviously. Whatever your preference is, you can select straight away. Sometimes I found in Football Manager that it didn't really matter in-swingers, out-swingers. If they were good at corners, you were just good at corners. But you can now have the option to kind of like tweak that to have just designated in-swinger or out-swinger for this. So you can ask, then it goes on to more adaptive and intelligent routines. Yes, please. Your set-piece coach will use the answers to craft some initial corner and free kick routines for every scenario. So their job is then to create these routines then, which I love. And I really hope, like it has it here. You know when you go on like the home screen and it's like a fluid movement? I really hope it shows stuff like that, so it gives you an idea of what the aim is going to be. So the kicker takes it and these players move. I'd love to see that in there. So when these routines are created, you'll now see every set piece has specific roles attached to it. For example, at a corner, the key roles outside of the taker of the set piece is aerial threat, box threat, recovery defender, and creators. So obviously it kind of speaks for itself what aerial threat's going to be. These are going to be your big strikers or your big centre backs who are going to be attacking the ball, which you would usually set at near posts. The box threat, I'd imagine, is the ones that sit around the edge of the box, because we can't see a B here from my little image down here. There's no B, so I'm not quite sure what the B is. The recovery defenders are obviously going to be the defenders at the back here, and creators, you can see C1 and C2. They're going to be the ones that like sit on the edge of the area. Maybe they have like they have good crossing in case the ball gets played back out and they can whip the ball back in, or a good long shot, for example, if the ball drops to them. Maybe they have great technique to hit a volley, etc. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now of how it is, but by all means, let me know your opinions, what you think each one of these would be better as, because I'm interested, I'm intrigued, I'm really invested in this set piece. It's something I've been wanting for a long time. For example, instead of saying that you want your right-sided central defender to attack the far post, your biggest aerial threat will now be given that job. We're going to get to the aerial threats, okay? It has it on this post. Each role category is named from top to bottom, with the top instruction being assigned to your most suitable player on the match day. And it's not done by like the AI. It doesn't decide it for you. You can influence this. So, aerial threats, you're most dangerous. You can assign players to these roles. All right. So where it says A1 attack far post, you can then assign it obviously to do. Or these are the routines obviously. So it's got like loads of different routines. I like the idea of it being like more than one routine so that you can see what happens. What I don't want there to be is one of the routines or somebody works out like the near post corners where one goes short. Oh, this is just way overpowered, because then this whole thing is kind of pointless, if you get what I mean. I hope it's very balanced and we can't find anything which is too overpowered. It's just better if you do it so that, you know, we have options. And, you know, if you have a better set piece coach, you score more from set pieces. That'll be great, rather than you just know, oh, I plug that in and I'm just going to score loads of corners. That's what I really hope doesn't happen. I want it to be more balanced, but also at the same time, you benefit from putting the time into it. These rankings automatically update as you change team selection. Formation or make substitutions, meaning you'll no longer need to micromanage your setups every time something changes, which is obviously a great thing. Things that are done automatically and take the load off of yourself, I think is a huge bonus, especially in Football Manager, because there's so much to do. These player rankings are accomplished by a new priority list. So this is where we're on about the aerial threats, etc. Okay. So let's take a look at this. This is the new page that we're going to get for when you decide your aerial threats. So these player rankings are accompanied by a new priority list, which allows you and your set piece coach to determine which roles you think are the most important at each type of set piece. What I like about this is it's giving the set piece coach a lot of things to do, a lot of jobs to do, instead of like, oh, I hired a set piece coach and then he give me a routine and that's it. All right, so I'm hoping that this is like an ongoing thing where like your set piece coach will continuously look at, if you buy in a new player, maybe it comes up as a suggestion to move him up the aerial defenders list. Because as you can see here, you can move this, but it's like in a squad planner when you can ask your assistant to prioritize that. I forget things like that. You can, I'm hoping, because by the looks of it, I'm pretty sure you can set your set piece coach up to do it automatically. And we're going to get to that in a sec as well. So we can see aerial defenders. So you can rank it here, and it's obviously got the attributes which obviously suit that. Jumping, strength, positioning. Ruben Dias and Roger at the top there if you were Manchester City. Trackers, which is obviously the defenders, which we'll get back. And counter-attackers. I'm guessing that is when you're defending. So I love the fact that that's also there, because then you don't have to just put your strikers up there, because maybe you've got an Andy Carroll type of centre back where you'd like him to where you'd like him to come back and attack the defending corners and stop, defending corners. Your best aerial threat might be a really good striker. So the counter attackers can be the wingers, for example, or a really tricky centre attacking midfielder who's good at dribbling, can hold the ball up just by having really good feet. That's what I like to see for the counter attacks. So we also, by the looks of it, we have the options to do that. We've also introduced a new concept of set-piece familiarity in FN24 to reflect the work your players do on each routine in training. You might not be able to hear it because my microphone went to cut out, but that is a huge round of applause for SI, because it makes sense. Why, if I have a tactical familiarity, if I just plug in a set piece, would it work straight away without any practice? Set piece familiarity. The more that they work on it, the more benefit you're going to get, because they're going to be better at it. They're going to be familiar with the set piece, and that is what it looks like we're going to get here. Reflect your players doing each routine in training. Having this greater understanding as well as a smarter way of prioritizing your threats will help you unlock opposition defenders and better implement your set piece philosophy. So we got another lovely page here to have a look, and I'm loving the orange this year. I really am. As much as I wish all of these were a little bit bigger, etc., I'm loving the color scheme. So we can see the taker is going to be Jack Grealish. So the aerial threats, Erling Haaland, Ruben Dias, Rodri. So that's what, 9, 3, and 16. So we get an understanding here, 9, 3, and 16. That looks like a near post corner. Your creators are 47 and 8 who are sat on the edge. Your box threats are 19. Okay, so what it looks like then is box threats are going to be not the strikers, or not your aerial threats who are obviously going to be good at like competing in the air, but it's going to be like your Chicaritos, the ones that you go, all right, he ain't going to win the header, but if you stick him at the back post, he's probably going to be the most alert to drop the ball, to knock it in. So good anticipation, good finishing. I'd imagine it'd be something like that. Good composure. Obviously, still remains to be seen because there's not that much information, but by giving what the box threat is in Julian Alvarez, who's probably not the best at winning it in the air, but he's a hell of a finisher of the ball. He's number 19. He's at the back post. So that's the routine. Is your box threat to be at the back post. That's what it kind of means to me. Recovery defenders, obviously, looks like it's the fast, pacey fullbacks that you can get. So we got Kyle Walker there. They're going to stay back and stop any counter-attacks. When you want to add new attacking corner and free kick routines, you've got the choice of either duplicating the one initially created by your set-piece coach or selecting an alternative. The addition of any new routines will trigger a pop-up that allows you to indicate the frequency in which you wish to use each one in matches. Yes! Now, I know a lot of people like to use different routines, but it was very random, wasn't it? It wasn't like... I guess because obviously you're doing key highlights and etc., so you might not see all of them being used. But you tend to only see like one being used, and then the next one only be, and then it'd be a little bit random. But maybe in this you can kind of see, and what would be great is if you could have like a statistic to show we use this one this amount of times, and we had an XG of this. We use this one less times, but we had a higher XG. Would you like to swap the frequency of these routines? Oh, maybe I should get a job at SI, because if they haven't implemented that, that's a fantastic suggestion. You'll notice when reviewing your free kick routines that we've added some instructions to do better reflect the way teams approach them in real life. These include one for defensive line height, on wide free kicks, and wall if needed instructions that allows goalkeepers to decide if they're necessary. Okay, good. We don't see anything about that, but that's just a nice little addition, I guess. A more authentic approach to throw-ins. All right, good, because throw-ins have been a little bit bland and boring for a while, so it's nice that they've also been shown some love in this. Mirroring more closely how teams approach throw-ins in the professional game, we've changed our approach from previous FMs. You'll now be asked your set-piece coach to indicate how you want to tackle throw-ins in the defensive, middle, and attacking third of the pitch. The first two give you an option to retain possession or work the line. I love this. I love this. This was always a thing when I was growing up, right? Work the line, get the ball further up the pitch. That's what I used to be. And because I was usually either a winger or a striker, I'd be the one tasked to throw the ball at me, and either the defender's going to nod it out for a throw-in, and I've got to hassle them to make sure that happens and not them bring down in possession, or I flick it on, etc. But this is beautiful, because if you are that type of manager who loves to keep possession, you can then opt to obviously retain the possession at the back, which I'm guessing is going to be quite popular. Work the line is going to be more for a counter-attacking team, I guess. While for the attacking third, you can choose to work the ball into the box or go straight for the long throw-in. Rory Delap style. Nice, I like it. Okay, so now we can see a little bit more about that. And again, if you go for the long throw, you can add the aerial threats, what they're going to be doing. You've got creators, recovery defenders, and box threats again. B1, lurk at the back post. I'm pretty sure we've got that one nailed. I'm pretty sure we know what that one is now. Once you selected your preferences for each of these three areas of the pitch, your set-piece coach will generate routines in the same way they did with the corners and free kicks, and your players will be automatically assigned roles based on their attribute breakdowns. So, automatically assigned. That's good. And obviously, you can opt to change it by the looks of it. They're giving us those dots, which we've got in the squad planner. So that's nice. If you disagree with what they have selected, or maybe you've just got a preference. I want Erling Haaland to be there, the number one aerial threat, because I want him to, break Ditsy Ding's record. Whatever you want to do, you can probably do that. Okay, the next part, streamlining your creative talents. Much like the personnel list, for every routine, your set-piece takers are all now automatically assigned in your backroom team. As I was mentioning earlier, I use technical director to renegotiate all of staff contracts, and once I have got my staff down, I then use technical director to then hire any things that come out, especially in rebuilds, etc., where I don't really focus too much on the staff. I use that quite a lot in the staff responsibilities. It looks like there's obviously going to be options for set pieces with this. So let's take a look at this. The takers themselves are now ranked based on their relevant attributes, and you'll notice that deliveries are now categorized by swing rather than left or right side. Okay. Swing. Where does it say that? I don't see. Maybe I'm just failing to see that. But okay, fair enough. As such, instead of having to copy over your setup to both sides, you now only need to create a routine, and it will apply to either side of the pitch as long as you have suitable footed player in your takers list. Right. If you want your players to do outswingers from one side and inswingers from the other, you can now do this by either setting a player as your designated specialist. If you had a James Ward-Prowse, just because it's an outswinger, you would not be taking him off corners, would you? From the takers menu, which makes them take every single corner or free kick, or by only selecting right or left-footed takers for that specific set piece. Having made these changes to the set piece creator, we've now separated penalties into their own tab. That's good. There are 2 additional customization options here, including one that allows you to change taker if your first choice missed a penalty earlier in the game. I like that as well. I like that addition. All right, this is all very good. Dictating your level of responsibility. Bear in mind that your routines your set piece coaches creates aren't entirely set in stone, and you're empowered to edit, amend, and customize them. So that's good. So the only downside of that is if there is some things that aren't balanced, and we can, well, not we, because I won't find it, but other people will find ways of exploiting and be like, oh, just use this routine, you're going to score loads of goals. Let's hope that's not the case. All right, we want a nice balanced thing, but you benefit more from it if you use more, if you use it more, if that makes sense, or you have better set piece coaches. If you're happy with them, though, this is where your set piece coach can come into their own, as you can delegate full responsibility for all aspects of your set pieces in your career. Good. Should you want them to, they can handle everything in training and update the personnel and set piece takers list as you make changes from your team selection and wider squad. That's as I mentioned earlier, so that's fantastic. Ultimately, this means that your set piece routines will now be better aligned with your specific preference, and that once they are set, you can be involved as much or as little as you want, knowing that they've got the expertise and support specialists behind you. Very good stuff. Okay, so you can see the set piece coach down here, which is highlighted in the coach responsibilities, and there's the new set piece option added onto the end there. Added onto the fitness side, onto the extra side by fitness there. So understanding your rival set piece's strengths. So this is obviously going to be for you data nerds. I wish I was more into this. I really do. As well as helping you with the creation and developing your set piece routines, FN24 will also deliver your greater insight into the approach of your opponents and what they're doing. We've added some new visuals to illustrate how strong teams and individuals players are. And, it's good that it's done the players as well, because then you can obviously, if you've got a really good routine, but maybe you're noticing like you've got a high XG from set pieces, but you're not actually scoring as many, you can go, all right, this wonderful person here is scoring loads of goals from set pieces. We can sign him, and you can do that. There's also a new type of visual that will be useful for seeing where a team tends to aim their deliveries, allowing you to work with your backroom team to evolve and adapt for every fixture. That's really good. I love that. All right, so the final part here, making an impact in both ends of the pitch. The introduction of the set piece coach and a refresh of the set piece creator delivers you new and refreshed ways to create match-winning routines in every scenario. That's fantastic, all right? I haven't done one of these in the last couple of ones because I didn't feel that there was enough to actually do it. But myself and my dad are going to be coming up with a video very soon. We're going to look at all of the new changes implemented and give you our like overall stuff. So I've been sending more to Dad each time because I know you guys really value what Dad has his opinion, especially somebody who's coming into the game quite new and is just like really recently been playing it. So if you are interested in that, that is going to come out soon. We're going to do more of like a conversational piece. It might be a little bit longer, but yeah, if that's something that you would enjoy, then obviously that's going to come. But yeah, let us know. But thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're as excited for the new set piece stuff as what I am. I think it's a great addition to Football Manager and makes the new game worth it just to see how these works, etc. Before obviously we get the new engine next year. Again, I just wish some of the buttons were a little bit bigger and things were filling the page a bit more and looked a little bit more prettier. But other than that, this is a big plus from me. So nice work, Football Manager and Sports Interactive.